So why do companies insist on shooting themselves in the foot? The occasion that prompted this video is the latest ad for Jaguar, where they showed nothing about the vehicle, but they did this LGBTQ plus thing that seemingly had nothing to do with the cars or trucks or whatever products Jaguar may be making, and it was absolutely cringeworthy. Were they just trying to get attention? Because they've alienated, the vast majority of their potential customers and their existing customer base by going crazy on this woke thing that they filmed. It has to be, I don't know, it has to be a joke. I just can't see them being realistic. They're narrowing down their customer base to less than 10%, and even within the LGBTQ community, half of them don't agree with what's going on in that woke stuff. So what, they're going to be down to 5% of their potential customers? So that's crazy. You know, it makes me wonder, are these companies literally committing suicide, or has some other agenda just thrown them under the bus? Look at all these Mustangs. 5 liters. Well, this one's got the big fat wheels on it. That's the Sport Pack. Nice cars. So, and oh, there's only one Mach-E. And I can see here. More Mustangs, all 5 liters. Bunch of 5 liters. So, what's going on about pushing this electric car mandates? You know, no more combustion engine cars after, depending on where you are, 2030 or 2035. What's going on with that? Well, it's bound to backfire, and I'll tell you why. If you tell a human being that he has to do something, some of them will go along to get along, but a lot of them are just going to say, not a chance. Plus, the world is not ready for an all-electric car. We don't have the electrical infrastructure. We don't have the minerals available to make all these electric cars, because they use a lot more copper, and of course the batteries use a unique combination of materials. And you know, well, we can go all renewables. You know, this renewable thing, people don't realize that the windmills, by the time they are done, have barely recuperated their carbon footprint. And the solar farms are built on forest land or farmland, and the process by which they're established is corrupt at best, because you know, big corporations get subsidies from the government, and then they put up these solar farms, and one good storm, a hailstorm, and that's it, they're done. So come on, guys, you know, anytime you have a renewable energy project like solar or wind, that means that there's a conventional source of energy available for backup, because renewables don't work all the time. I mean, there's relatively no wind and no sun today, so none of that shit works today. So you know, the electric cars are lingering in parking lots. What's to be had? The hybrid. Hybrid is probably the best solution. It takes away all of the range and anxiety that may occur. Wow, these are pretty cool looking cars. You know, there's a big change that's just occurred in the U.S. New administration is likely to rescind a lot of these mandatory electric car changeovers, and some of the corporations are left with their pants down. Not the Japanese cars. The Toyota and Honda have invested heavily in hybrid cars, and they're well positioned. Hyundai Kia has invested heavily in all electric, but they're very varied. They're quite varied. Now Chrysler was prepared to change completely over to electric, and they got caught with their pants down. They are in trouble. They need to figure out a way to fit a V8 in their Dodge Rams and their Chargers that they had eliminated. Come on, guys, you know, a Dodge without a Hemi? That's not a Dodge. What else? The Ford lots, the dealers just aren't ordering any electric cars. They don't want them because they're not moving. And the manufacturers aren't making money on these electric cars. It's being reported that as much as $50,000 or $60,000 per car is lost on every electric car. These manufacturers can't do that for that long. And there's another aspect that people overlook, and that's the Chinese production of electric cars. BYD is poised to invade or to flood the world with cheap electric cars, and this will effectively decimate all of the world's automakers. They already cannot make an electric car and compete with them as it stands. So when the Chinese, when BYD starts flooding the world with their cheap electric cars, that's going to kill all of the domestic production of automobiles. I mean, all the German brands, all the American brands. The Japanese, I don't know, because they're not going there. They are bucking the full electric trend. They are sticking with what they do well. And of course, Toyota with the hybrid, which has been around forever, the Prius, surprisingly has been a very durable and reliable car. And they're sticking to that technology and doing really well with it. Honda's following along. They're always a little bit behind. Unless something drastic in battery technology occurs, and I mean not just a battery that's slightly better. I mean something like cold fusion or micro-nuclear power sources. Something that, you know, what science fiction stories are full of, where, you know, you put a battery the size of a AA in a car and then it goes for 10 years. Unless something like that happens, the full electric cars are going to be a slow development. So, you know, electric trucks. Whoa, as soon as you start putting a big load on an electric motor, it burns up energy like you wouldn't believe. So they want to switch the tractor trailers to electric, not so long as we have to run batteries as they stand today. So they need to have a big jump in efficiency, or something drastically has to change. Just slight battery improvements, that's not going to cut it. So are the manufacturers, you know, committing suicide, or have they been thrown under the bus? Well, when governments flip-flop in regulations, it makes it really tough for companies to follow along. What's going to happen? Well, only time will tell. All right, guys, that's it. That's my rant for today. Subscribe, like, and come on back. Thank you.